Howdy everybody, welcome back to Urban Odyssey. This is going to be section 10 of the 6G white paper. There are only two sections left after this one. This one, section 10 on cell-free massive MIMO, is going to be a pretty short section, but the next section, section 11, will be slightly longer. And then after that, it's pretty much just a recap and conclusions. And so we're almost through it. So let's knock this one out today, and then we will talk about what we're going to do for the longer next section. Stick around, guys. Alrighty, guys. For those of you who have stuck with me this long, I commend you because this paper is definitely a bit boring, but at the same time, it is necessary for people to have access to something like these videos so that they can look through this themselves and have a little bit of commentary from me. I mean, I don't claim to understand these like somebody on the level who would be doing the research. But I do think that it is important for us to understand the language and how it's being used against us in something like this. And we're going to start with some more words and terms like we have been, because I've been getting a lot of good feedback on that. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. All right. So to start us off, our first term, which is the name of this chapter, cell-free massive MIMO. MIMO is multiple input, multiple output. So it's the swarm. Instead of connecting to one big tower miles away, you would connect to hundreds of tiny antennas, such as smart dust, Wi-Fi routers, street lamps. They're even putting it in the paint now. That was in one of the sections we covered, I think like section 4, all around you simultaneously. It's the liquid prison. The prison walls are no longer static concrete, they're digital waves that move with you. The network surrounds you like a swarm of bees, ensuring you are never out of range of the targeting system. Next one, user-centric architecture. They claim it's all about you. The network doesn't cover a place like a city, it covers a person. The signal focuses entirely on where you are standing right now. The targeted individual protocol. The system creates a unique, inescapable bubble of surveillance around you. You aren't just a user, you are the target. The grid optimizes its energy to hit you specifically, ignoring the empty space around you. Access points. These are the eyes, these are the antennas. In this system, they're everywhere on walls and light fixtures, potentially inside people. Not potentially, they are. Biosensors. The firing squad, section 10, calls for 1,000 AP access points per square kilometer. This saturation ensures that no matter where you turn, multiple weapons emitters have a clear shot at your biofield. Network MIMOs, teamwork, a method where multiple towers work together to send you a signal rather than just one tower doing all of the work. Gang stalking. The infrastructure gangs up on you. Instead of one tower tracking you, every device on the block coordinates to triangulate your exact position and mental state. Favorable propagation. The clear shot, a physics term meaning the signal has a perfect direct line to the receiver without interference, the sniper's corridor, the mathematical guarantee that the weaponized frequency will hit your body with maximum impact. The AI calculates the perfect angle to bypass obstacles and deliver the packet or the payload directly to your nervous system. Channel state information, CSI, the connection quality. The network measures how well the signal is reaching you. It checks if there is static or a wall in the way. The biometric lock, the radar pings your body, which means like to send a signal. If you've ever played games, your connection to the game is usually called your ping. Pings your body to see how your skin and water reflect the signal. It maps your physical state in real time to ensure the connection shackles remain tight. Your bars, you have your signal on your phone and their bars, so like a prison cell. Shadow fading, blocking the signal. In the old days, a big building would block your cell signal. This is called a shadow. No hiding place because the access points surround you from all angles, 360 degrees. Shadows are eliminated. You cannot hide behind a wall because the network is also behind the wall, watching you from the other side. Time division duplex, TDD, the interrogation pulse, the communication mode, where the uplink, you to the grid, and the downlink, the grid to you, share the same frequency, but at different times. The network uses the target's uplink signal, the pilot, to estimate the channel, then immediately fires the downlink signal back down the same path. It uses your own energy emission to aim the return weapon. Front haul links, the nervous system of the beast, the high-speed data connections that link the distributed access points to the central processing unit. This allows the scattered sensors to share data instantly, creating a unified brain that processes the target's location and bio data in real time. And the final word, coordinated multi-point, COMP, the pack hunting protocol, a strategy where geographically separated transmission points coordinate to serve a single user. This eliminates inter-cell interference, the ability to hide in the noise between towers, by turning the interference into a strengthening signal. The network stops fighting itself and starts gang stalking the user. All right, those are the section 10 terms. Those are all on the list, the directory, so you guys can search for all of these and they will be there. So now we will go ahead and get into the writing. So like I said, this section isn't too long, but the next section is a bit large, and so I'm going to kind of evaluate what I want to do. Maybe I will just do like a live stream that's about an hour and a half and just finish the whole thing out. That way, we can sum it up, we can give some conclusions or whatnot. We could do it all together. Okay, so Section 10, Cell-Free Massive MIMO Communications. In 5G wireless networks, massive MIMO communications, or multiple input, multiple output communications, have been tested and deployed at base stations, which are equipped with more than 100 antenna elements to increase the antenna array gain and take advantage of the diversity gain. A related concept is network MIMO, which, instead of packing more than 100 antenna elements into a single base station, forms a coordinated framework consisting of multiple base stations, each with multiple antennas. A coordination scheme of this kind can achieve spatial diversity by allowing a single user to be served by more than one base station at the same time, overcoming the disadvantage of bad channel conditions if only one base station is connected to the user, and eliminates a inter-cell interference. However, a detailed comparative study has shown that massive MIMO communication schemes outperform network MIMO with respect to end-user received signal strength and overall cost and configuration. Going one step further, in order to effectively eliminate inter-cell interference caused by users located at cell boundaries, based on the ideas of distributed MIMO communications and coordinated multi-point comp, communications, researchers have proposed the concept of cell-free massive MIMO communication. Here is figure 13. Here, I'll just put it up on the screen like this. That is figure 13, cell-free massive MIMO in comparison with classic massive MIMO. Cell boundaries. Based on the ideas of distributed MIMO communications and coordinated multipoint, researchers have proposed the concept of cell-free massive MIMO communication. In a scheme of this kind, the originally densely packed antenna array set with a few hundred elements at the base station is distributed in a fairly large area in the form of smaller sets with fewer than 100 antenna elements, while still serving a similar number of users in the same area. As shown in figure 13, the main difference between cell-free and classic massive MIMO communication systems is that instead of associating each user terminal to a cell with a base station, here, I'll put it up for you. Instead of associating each user terminal to a cell with a base station equipped with a large number of antenna elements, it relaxes the restriction of cell boundaries, which can significantly reduce or even eliminate the inter-cell interference. Without cell boundaries, all base stations or a subset of base stations can serve users simultaneously in a coordinated manner. In coordination, the cell-free massive MIMO base stations can share with each other the data to be sent to users through front-haul links. It has been shown that base stations can use their local channel state information to achieve satisfactory performance and avoid the excessive computation complexity associated with sharing global channel conditions with all base stations. The local CSI can be estimated in the uplink channel in a time division duplex mode. Then, pre-coding is performed based on the obtained channel information at the base station. Before data transmission in the downlink channel, I'll read that again. Then pre-coding is performed based on the obtained channel information at the base stations before data transmission in the downlink channel. The transmit power and pre-coding vector can be determined based on the geographic proximity of users to the base stations. Compared to the small cell architecture in 5G, which consists of non-cooperative base stations that can serve up to 100 users per cell with a smaller area, i.e. up to 200 meter cell radius and reduced power and signal transmission up to 10 watts. A cell-free massive MIMO communication system achieves significantly better performance since each user can be served by a dedicated access point. A reported study has demonstrated that the cell-free massive MIMO scheme improves 95% likely per user throughput by 5 times and by 10 times under-correlated shadow fading with respect to the small cell solutions. More specifically, the same study has been reported that when considering realistic channel conditions, including pilot contamination and imperfect CSI, cell-free massive MIMO systems demonstrate much higher throughput compared to small cells, and more importantly, are more robust to impacts such as shadow fading, non-coherence interference, as well as noise. However, we also note the following challenges. 1. Due to the issue of aliasing, channel estimation for signals received by different antenna elements is more complicated compared to that of ordinary massive MIMO communications. And 2, with the significantly increased synthesized aperture size, the range of near-field propagation grows larger, hence requiring a different channel model for characterizing the large and small scale channel parameters. Subsection A, channel characteristics of cell-free massive MIMO communication systems. It has been theoretically proven, and I highlighted that because I don't, what does theoretically proven mean? That's kind of a, um, I guess like a juxtaposition or a, it doesn't really make sense. Theoretically proven. So has it been proven or hasn't it? Well, it has been theoretically proven that as the number of antenna elements approaches infinity, adversarial channel effects, including intercell interference, small-scale fading, and others will disappear. In cell-free massive MIMO communications, such effects will also have a negligible impact on propagation channels. Specifically, channels under a coordinated scheme of this kind will satisfy the conditions of favorable propagation. Favorable propagation conditions imply that the channel vectors between the base stations and the UEs are orthogonal so that the sum rate can be maximized. This characteristic is most prominent in classic massive MIMO communications, but in cell-free massive MIMO systems, it has been shown that favorable propagation conditions can be achieved given that the number of access points is fairly large with an approximate density of 1,000 per square kilometer. Subsection B, open problems in cell-free massive MIMO communications. As the domain of cell-free massive MIMO communications is relatively new, there are several open problems that merit further investigation. Among them, we posit that coordination and optimization challenges will critically affect the entire system performance and future deployments. User scheduling. Extensive studies have been conducted on channel characterization and capacity analysis. However, the prior art does not take into consideration scenarios involving networks with a large number of users to serve. In such cases, there might be an upper bound for the number of access points to serve a user in order to maintain an acceptable level of average throughput. Current works assume that all users will be served simultaneously under the same frequency resource block. However, when the number of users grows to a threshold where they can no longer be served at the same time, a scheduling scheme that achieves fairness should be considered. Local optimization of access points. Existing works in cellular networks draw heavily upon stochastic geometry, where cell structures follow 2D Voronoi tessellation in geographically separated base stations that serve cell edge users under the coordinated multi-point scheme to improve overall system efficiency and overcome intercell interference through scheduling. It is therefore crucial to optimize the placement of base stations under practical link level constraints such as signal to interference ratio, as well as success probability for individual links to enhance network fairness. In cell-free massive MIMOs, since no cell boundaries are assumed, system-level performance pertaining to the location of access points, random scatterers, as well as users should be thoroughly investigated and optimized. And so that's all of section 10. Like I said, that was going to be a very quick section, but section 11, technologies for beyond 6G, is actually kind of three parts. It's like there are three distinct different areas it looks at, but it's like 3 or 4 pages long. And then after that, section 12 and section 13, noting that the paper ends with 13, the Masonic 13 number of sections. That's pretty fitting. I think I'm debating just doing like a live show tomorrow. That'll be about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we're just going to knock the whole paper out. and then I'm going to go through some of the notes that I have and kind of sum everything up and give you kind of the final conclusive evidence that this paper is very malicious, and that it uses all of these acronyms, all of these high level words and terms to hide what it really is doing. And that is what I hope most of you have gathered thus far. I've tried my best to define these terms in a way that are more truthful. And after we finish it, then we will be going on to some other. We're not going to do other papers all the way through unless they're important enough to. But the next ones that I want to do are just going to be contained in that same Synergist manual on the download section. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go through that because that's got like 2,000 pages of different white papers and different information. And we're just going to go through and we're going to look at what some of them say, because some of them are very open. Some are more open than others. But I think that it will shock you. If you haven't looked through that already, there will be a link in the description. You can download it for free, and the directories and the dictionaries and everything. And you can look through it yourself. It's a good resource to have. But with that, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you probably tomorrow to finish all of this out. So take care, guys. Thank you.